Hello, you guys. Today, we're going to be listening to a story of this guy who went from being an upstanding citizen to a suspect behind bars. Let's get into the story.
Friend of the pod, somebody I met from another good friend. Shout out to Bucky. You know what I mean? Who has a very interesting story. You know, our shit ain't just based just around music or just around fashion or just around, cultural influences. It's also real people that we know that have, you know, been through things that they made it out of that they're willing to share. And on top of that, not only willing to share, but spinning their experiences into monetization.
That's a
Right?
goal.
So, it's where's this joint at? I want to read something real fast. Right. And then
Man, my
we can
son
get into
vocab is up. I ain't gonna hold you, B.
That's learned behavior, man. I wasn't
That I-
always like that.
Yo, I give a nigga a shout out, a compliment. He tells me to relax.
Cause I'm in my shit. You give me you
Go ahead,
clap when it's over.
I heard you.
Who didn't receive a letter or a visit today? To everyone who's battled a mental illness or struggling with integrity, ask yourself: is the risk worth your lifestyle? Then follow that question with: is this lifestyle worth your freedom? Never sell your soul to make a dollar. I knew we grew up hopeless, but you gotta stay focused.
I didn't quote Capo on that, but I got that from Capo.
Now, I knew it was a very good wordsmith that put that together, and just the insight of how you would use it in the format that you used it in your book right here
Cross the bridge,
across
man.
across the bridge. You
We
know
gonna
what I
talk
mean?
about
By
that.
Stephen Dominguez. I had my motherfucking brother Stephen Dominguez.
Chit,
And this
chit.
motherfucker, hold on, let me turn on my ear horns. Pardon self, my ear horns. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Hit that shit again, man. Hit that shit again, man. Hit that shit a fucking again, man. Let's fucking go, man. We back, man.
Whatever you say about Show, he's a good hype man, man.
He catching, no, he is.
Yo,
I
yo,
just
I appreciate
I
you,
keep
bro.
him sharp,
He's a
Steve.
good
I
hype
appreciate you, man.
I gotta keep this
But now I know
motherfucker
why
sharp.
you like that. You know,
You feel me? I could be
it's
calm.
love, but it's stern.
It gotta be. It gotta be.
I like that.
It
I
gotta
like
be.
that.
You know what I mean? So
He deserved a lot.
That's a
man.
real
This is-
friend.
yeah.
That's a real
No,
friend.
that's my.
That's a real friend.
you know what I mean?
You can be an asshole sometimes, though.
All the time. don't sometimes. All the time. all the time. Gotta keep you sharp, nigga.
Give a nigga gray hair early.
The minute you get complacent, minute I even feel you complacent, I'm
Dealing with wifey and this nigga's crazy, Steve.
They both keep you on your toes.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
nah. But the insert I just read, right? What gave you the motivation to start your index to your book with those lines?
More so because I was guilty of everything they said I was guilty of. And as a man, I admitted to that guilt. So I can't say the system is fucked up, they treated me poorly. I can say all of those things, or I can't say all those things. But as a man, I knew that I was doing wrong. And I'm just showing face and saying, listen, it was me. You know? I had the rock, I threw it at the glass house, it was me. You know, I'm not proud of it, but after this, I'm going to make you proud of me. Because we all make mistakes, and I'm just trying to sell you my mistake.
Gangsta.
If you was able to get out that situation clean, would you have? Or
I had the opportunity to. They wanted me to talk to them, you know, the feds wanted me to talk to them, the police department and YPD wanted me to talk to them, Department of Investigations wanted me to talk to them. Rat, you know, snitch, but it's like, I'm the one that's doing everything that y'all want to know, so you got the right guy, you know? I could try to fight it, I could go to trial, I could, you know, spin it around and say I was a product of my environment, but those are just excuses. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I did it well up until a certain point. And, you know, unfortunately, it led to my freedom. I paid my debt to society. I did 5 years and 8 months out of an 8-year bid. I was granted work release because I was a stellar inmate. I wasn't beating dudes up. I wasn't in the yard causing a ruckus. I was myself. I was in Clinton. So when the snow was up to here, I made sure I had that typewriter in my cell. I made sure I was writing stuff down, writing friends, family, making sure my mom's was good, you know? And writing this book, writing the screenplay and the book. Nobody told me how to do that. I bought every book on that catalog that was going to teach me how to do so. Because since day one, yo, man, your story's crazy. Yo, you need to write a book. Yo, what? Nah. This would be a great movie. I would love to see this as a series. And that kind of motivated me. I can't draw. I can't do other things in prison or in jail to have the time go by other than take care of myself, my health, my mental health, and have a hobby. And this was my hobby. I've never expressed myself through writing until I was incarcerated. And it was so freeing. It was so, it took me out of that 8x9, you know? The yard is closed. 2 people got slashed. We on lockdown for 3.5 weeks. Perfect. Now I'm in my cell. Now I'm getting work done, you know?
Oh, we
see, we went directly into the gangster shit
yeah.
before I even gave niggas the applesauce. I didn't even give. I didn't even give niggas the applesauce.
That nigga was about to go in. They had me glued. I ain't gonna hold you
into it. But you know, for the viewers, for the people listening, you know, I'm just getting our streaming situation right at the same time. I be pressing shit over here. I'm like multitasking between, you know, engineering.
Slow it down for a minute.
But you know, born and raised in Queens.
Yes.
Right. Been hustling, pretty much earning for yourself your whole way through your teenage years of life.
From the moment I turned 13.
You know what I mean? From selling kicks and hats.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get it going.
I worked on the Ave on 165th in the Coliseum block. I worked at 4 Seasons in Cap USA. 14 years old. I made $50 a day from 9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
New York hustler.
You know what I mean? Went to high school, graduated from John Jay College.
Yeah, well, I didn't graduate. I was in my 3.5 year, getting close to graduating.
And then I was the TSA gig?
I was in TSA while I was in college.
Okay.
So I was working full-time and school full-time. I went to John Jay. They was giving out the Department of Corrections test. I took it. I passed it. They hired me. And at that point, I'm 20 years old. I couldn't start because, you got to be 21 to be a city employee. So what I did was try to get as much schooling as I got up until I could get into the academy. And then from there, made it happen. Because at that point, it was, let me make some money, I could graduate later. That was my mindset. You know?
So you
okay? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm gonna let you get your shit off. Right? So you majored in criminal justice.
Yeah.
And you minored in forensic psychology.
Yeah, I wanted to be a forensic psychologist. I've always been intrigued by the mind. Always. Because I know it's probably the most powerful weapon we got.
Right. So with those being your trades in college, what made you apply to work for the TSA?
Well, with TSA, it was more, again, just, it was an opportunity. So I was 18 at the time when I got hired by TSA, one of the only federal agencies that you could be under 21. Because, you don't have peace officer status, so I don't have a gun, nothing. Before that, I worked at the airport power washing the terminals. My girlfriend at the time, her father had a contract at JFK. So I'm power washing the terminals outside, taking the gum off and everything. I'm 16, 17 at this time. So I would see TSA officers back and forth. And I'm like, yo, how old you got to be a TSA agent? Because I saw it was a lot of young cats, a lot of cats that was in school that was in the same scenario that I was. And they're like, yo, you could be 18. I said, shit, I'm 18 now. Yo, here, apply, this and that. They called me back. I went through a federal clearance, and I got the job. And then from there, I'm going to John Jay. I was working 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. at TSA. I would take the bus to 125th, take the A train to 59th, and go to John Jay.
That's crazy.
And I would do that every single day. So on top of just work and school and making money, I'm trying to pitch, all right, you know what? What federal agency can I go to elevate myself? Because TSA is cool, but it's a stepping stone. Should I go to customs? Should I go to ICE? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I join DEA? You know, I got a clean record at this time. I could go, the options are endless.
Hey, Tito, I want you to grab a chair and sit down, Tito. I want you to hear this, because this is some shit that we'll just be talking about in our own time. Yeah. So I want you to grab a chair. I want you to listen to this. This is my man Steve right here. He's been through some shit. This is my driver Tito.
Okay,
right here.
Tito, what's up, man?
Good guy. We all from the same cloth.
Yo, but he came from a good background. Like, he was on it early.
Coming
from NY, bro. Like, you 18.
I'll tell you why.
Like,
that was because I saw cats going in and out of Rikers. I saw what doing the wrong thing could get you. So I try to steer clear from it. I still money hungry, but I'm trying to do it the right way.
Yeah,
you know?
Facts. You was getting it though. You ain't never not have a job. It sound like
always. I'm shoveling snow. I'm selling sneakers. I'm selling fitteds. You know, like I'm buying stuff wholesale.
What's your family like? What type of?
It's just me and my moms. I got family in Colombia. I got family in DR, but it's just me and my moms here. You know, I'm an only child for her. My pops got two brothers. I got two brothers and a sister from my father's side, but it's just me and my mom. My mom's a substitute teacher, so she wasn't caking like that, you know. And I'm trying to make her situation better on top of mine. And even though mine could be good at one point, still got to show her love. I don't want her to be in the hood by herself, you know.
Right.
So it wasn't as selfish as it might sound. I was always in betterment for her.
Right, I mean.
So your mom's Dominican?
My mom is Colombian.
My
father's Dominican.
Okay, right. So, all right. So you got the job at TSA, right? Passed the test, flying colors, got it. So now at TSA, like, what was your mindset as far as did you always want to stay at TSA, like doing shit in the airport on some TSA shit, or was it like
there was parts of me that didn't want to get comfortable there, and I wanted to just like venture out. You know, I was even thinking about joining the military, doing something where it's like I could just see the world.
Right.
You know, because I was tired of Queens. Even though I ventured outside of Queens, I would be in the Bronx at late hours of the night, 14, 15 years old. You know, like I knew the train system like the back of my hand. I played ball here. I'm gonna throw it back for you. I will meet a chick from local hookups in the South Bronx somewhere, and she'll tell me, "Yo, listen, I'm on the 3rd floor." Like, damn, you live in Edenwald? That's crazy. Yeah.
Son, that nigga said local hookups, bro.
I'm by myself, no gun, no nothing. But the good thing about me is that I'm always myself. So it doesn't seem like I'm out of place, you know. So I'm not a threat to you, and I don't want to be a threat. Cause if you feel threatened, you could do anything. That's your hood,
right?
You know. So I walk through 400 dudes at the lobby just to get upstairs to talk to Shorty and hopefully get some.
That's some New York shit.
Yeah, and then come back to Queens on the bus like.
That Q44.
He was one of them Queens niggas that left Queens to come fuck out Uptown.
To Parsons and then take a dollar cab back, and that was my weekend. You know, and then go back to work, go back to school.
Right, that's from them days. What school you went to?
Forest Hills.
Forest Hills.
Yeah. Okay, shout out to Remy Banks.
Word. Shout out to Rem. That's my guy too. Word. Shout out to World's Fair. Right. So, all right. I say all that to say, what made you want to be a correctional officer? Because from TSA, that was your next stop.
To
going into corrections.
That's a whole different.
It's a whole
type of people,
right? Is the money different?
The money's huge. The money's huge, and
all that OT.
All that OT. I say that to say, when I got to John Jay one morning, this was like a Thursday when I didn't work and I had an early morning class. They had a booth set up in the front, 2 COs. Usually, from what I learned after I was a CO, that those are COs that have been injured, but they're good enough to go in the field and try to get people to take the test. At that time, the test was like, recruiting basically. That time, the test was $30.
Wow.
$30 money order, you take the test. So he says, "Yo, big man, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? Ever thought about corrections?" And I'm like, "Not really. I don't really know too much. I know I have a neighbor that's a CO." And he's like, "Yo, listen." Took out his pay stub, a recent pay stub. It was of that week.
4G.
It was like 4 or 5 G's.
I knew it.
Bi-weekly. But mind you, I don't know that he got 20 years on the job. He gets longevity pay and all that stuff. I thought that you're going to get that starting. Remember, I'm 20 years old at the time, 19, 20. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I could afford $30. I get the $30 money order at the post office. I come, I take the test. I go to Franklin K. Lane, I think it was. I took the test. They hit me right back. Yo, listen, you can start this class January of 2010. And in my head, I'm like, but I turned 21 in May. So I call the investigator and I tell him, hey, listen, I got mail saying that I can go into the next academy class. I just got to do the fingerprint thing and all that, so go through the process. But I'm 20 years old. And she's like, there'll be another class later on. I'm like, all right, cool. So then they called me. They called me June, literally a week after I turned 21. But something happened. They didn't have enough people for that class, and they pushed it all the way to December. So I started December of 2010, and the Correction Academy is 4 months long. Did that. It was in Queens. I'm still getting paid through them. I'm still doing my thing. I'm still selling sneakers, still selling fitteds, jerseys, whatever I can to try to make some side money, because the problem with me is that I'm never satisfied.
We all.
Food, women, clothes, money. So even though I'm in the right path, I'm still trying to get it in numerous ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. If you're doing it the right way, there's nothing wrong with that. Graduate the academy, they put me in C-73. So I become a correctional officer on Rikers
2010,
Island.
2011.
Entering 2011, because I graduated the academy in
the
March.
middle of 2010, or
So
the beginning of
21.
11.
2011.
Yeah,
Ponso,
11.
right? So I say that to say, so this is around the time in our culture, because we all around pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
Once you're 30, we all
30.
the same age, right? So I feel like guys in our inner cities weren't too receptive of people that worked on the other side, right?
Not at all.
Of because this is around the stop snitching era. And
COs ain't woke.
He police. He run around with police, right?
Yeah.
So you being from the inner city and being an inner city nigga, right? And having inner city friends, right? How did your friends take on to you having this new gig as a correction, as a CO?
Yeah, as a CO, it was a little difficult. And I say that only because in my mind, again, I'm trying to do the right thing. But I'm also trying to justify it to my man that sell bud to the left of me. Like, yo, like, this is just for a check. I'm trying to justify and say, I'm not a cop. Even though I got a badge and a gun, and I'm a peace officer, I'm not a cop. And he's like, how you not a cop? I said, because I'm not fighting crime. I'm literally just babysitting adults and getting paid for that. So I'm trying to justify it, you know? Not knowing that this is just as detrimental to, you know, my peers as being a cop.
That's some real shit.
You know?
That's why I asked.
I'm oppressing my own people.
Right.
I learned that later on, though, because I'm not thinking that far. I'm a kid, bro. I'm 21 years old.
That's a fact.
I want
they bribed
this.
you with money.
I want this.
They bribed you with money.
And I wouldn't even go so far to say you're oppressing your own people, because it's not you
it's
that
not
put
you
those
per
people
se.
in there.
No, but
you
they
just
have
doing
control.
you were just doing the job.
Yeah, but by
So-
day, I mean the facility and the inner workings of the facility and the building itself, you kind of are, because you're enforcing rules and regulations that we break every single day.
But it was your job title, so it wasn't some shit that you created.
No, for
that's
sure.
why I don't want you to even put yourself there like I was
Yeah.
oppressing. You wasn't oppressing shit.
Yeah.
You was just doing the job.
Some people would say I was part of the problem.
You were doing the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They them niggas that said that would love to have that paycheck at the end of
Oh
that
yeah,
week.
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a
for
fact.
sure.
And they'll risk their
as they
freedom.
talk,
They'll risk their freedom
but
or not.
Yeah, going back
get it.
going back to how my friends reacted to that, they saw the glow up.
We'll get
now-
to the glow up. We gonna get there. Baby steps. I want, because we know the story, but I know a lot of my viewers is like, what the fuck? What's going on here? So I want people to understand why you sitting here.
Right.
And I'm gonna get into the, you know, the meat and potatoes of the situation.
But at the same time, you need good COs in there, though. So if you a good
It
nigga,
helps the morale. Yeah.
But a
Yeah.
lot of niggas at that point didn't understand and wasn't
Facts.
in the feel of doing things where they would need those people on their side.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So to somebody that's on the other side that's ignorant to a situation.
I was one of the first in my neighborhood or tri-neighborhood, you could say, Queens Village, Hollis, Southside, that became a CO. Now I know a lot of people that are COs.
That's a fact.
Because they
That's a
realize
hustle now.
realize the benefit in being a CO. You know, aside from the mental strain and the emotional strain and the physical strain it has on your body, being a CO, all my kids could have braces. I could go on 3-week vacations and take my kids to Walt Disney cruise or something. I could get a brand new car. It's not so much my credit, but I could go to a bank. They know I'm getting paid every 2 weeks, no matter what.
That's a fact.
Pandemic, no matter what. Hurricane, no matter what.
Right. So having those benefits and knowing, you know, what the job, the perks of the job brings. You know, you sign up, you doing this, you're in there. I'm gonna get to the real shit.
Let's.
So you in there for a while, you're green, and you know, inmates can be charming in a way. So you're there every day, you spend a lot of time there. Right.
Yeah,
So
16 hours a day.
So at some point you guys form some type of conversation because you're a human being and you a nigga from the inner city and this could be your friend behind the wall in the 6 degrees of separation.
That's why I say it was a
somewhere down the
little
line.
easier for me.
You understand them.
I'm
Right.
relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you get into this, you know, your conversations with people and shit. And buzz that bell for me, Tito. And you start to indulge on the other side. And when I say indulge on the other side, you start to participate in dealings with certain inmates.
And the same criminal activities that
got them there.
That got them there.
Okay, so for the people that's slow, you started to help move drugs in the prisons in Rikers Island.
Inside and outside.
Okay, now
My son getting it.
now Rikers, you know, I haven't been, I don't want to be. But I do pay attention to what's going on in current events. Like right now, Rikers Island is been a subject as of late for, you know, the unsanitary environment that a lot of our brothers are in there dealing with right now.
Facts.
Right. So that's, you know, I'm a pin that right there. Let's rewind back to 2014. Right. So walk me through it. Your first time actually indulging in a criminal activity, being a CO, how did that look for you? What was that situation like? Like, how did you get into it?
When he first came to you,
Yeah.
and that first conversation.
Yeah. It took a few conversations to reel me in. I'm a very analytical person. So I'm looking at everything, you know, and I'm making sure that if I'm gonna do something, I do it the right way, even if it's something wrong.
Got you.
So he just came, yo, what's up? Listen, we can make some money. And he's not the first one.
Who was he in there?
He was someone of popularity in my building.
Okay.
Not so much in the whole Rikers Island, because I can't speak for the other buildings. I only worked in C73.
And that's the adolescent. That's not the adolescent.
No. Adolescents is C74.
C74.
They didn't send me there. They were gonna send me there, but because of my age,
You too young.
you're too relatable.
Yeah, that's a
you
fact.
literally was in class with this person.
That's a
you
fact.
know? So they didn't send me there. My building had a dorm side and a cell side.
Okay.
The dorm side was predominantly low classification. The high side was high classification, and they pinned that on you depending on your crime, your rap sheet, your in a jail rap sheet, because you know you could be a terror inside too, and also just tickets, and if your gang related. If you've been caught with a weapon, they put you in high classification. And predominantly, I worked in high classification. So I would see him that even though this dude was high class, he lived on the dorm side. And COs loved him, inmates respected him. He was just a popular dude. This dude would have top tier women come visit him on the visit floor. Money on his books, different color Pumas, sweatsuits. This is before they had to wear the tans. So they went street clothes.
He lit in there.
Wearing street clothes. This dude got Bape hoodies, shit that I'm working here to buy myself. And he's in jail doing and has this presence to him. So that kind of like, I guess we could say buttered up what he was asking for. So I'm dubbing him. I'm telling him, nah, man, I'm good. Because I seen people do this multiple times from the day I started, you know? And from there, he hits me with something different one day. I had the work detail, and he goes, yo, would you want to do security outside? And in my head, I'm like, I mean, that don't sound too bad. I know a couple COs that work at the 40/40 Club, COs that work at Starlets. What kind of security? Now he got my ear. He called me. You know what I mean? Because now it's something that I'm okay with. He knows that I'm not going to bring nothing in. So he tells me, listen, my brother and his mans, they just want you to drive them around. No matter where they at, they just want you to drive them around. On your days off, you don't got to call out nothing. 2-3 hours, make a little dollar. And I'm like, what's a little dollar? And he goes, you know, 1,500, maybe 2 bands for the day. And I'm like, shit, I got to work 40 hours a week plus
to get that 15.
To get that 2,000. The 2,000 is not even, I've never seen that on my check.
Right, because after taxes.
So to do that a day, and let's say I do it on my days off, that's 4 bands right there. Give that to my mom's, and I can move out and do my own thing. I'm still living with my mom at this point, you know, because I'm trying to figure out, yo, should I buy, should I rent? You know, I'm trying to, because I know the longevity in this. I know that I got this for 20 years at least, you know? So I'm strategically having good money management skills. And then from there, I get a number. He gives me a number on a piece of paper. He already had it written. He already knew what time was. Gave me the piece of paper on the law. I made sure nobody was there. He's like, yo, call that number. You can start next week. I waited. Because I'm like, nah, man. Something wasn't feeling right about this, you know? And I was continuously seeing him, and he would look at me from afar like, yo, you call? One day I called.
Wow.
Yo, what's up, man? This is, I gave him a bullshit name. This is Juan. I'm here with such and such. Oh, all right, yeah, we've been waiting for your call, man. Meet me at this restaurant. Quick. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's in Queens. You close to Queens? And I'm like, yeah. I didn't tell him where exactly I lived at. And I know the restaurant he's talking about. It's a Colombian restaurant, ironically. And I could tell in his voice and his way of speaking, his accent, that he was Colombian too. I don't know if that was done on purpose, you know?
Of course that was. Nah, maybe not.
Relatable, you know?
Exactly.
Make it comfortable. It's his people, man. He's gonna be cool with his people. A Haitian see another Haitian, they don't know each other from a hole in the wall. He'll get him a job, you know?
We relate off something.
That's especially people that look like us.
That's a fact.
So I meet him at the restaurant. I'm scared to death. I go, I get this drink. I sit down. I don't know what this dude look like. He don't know what I look like. That's what I'm thinking. He walks in. It's an older guy. He's in his 40s. Dad look. No jewelry, no nothing, no loud. Look like a mechanic, you know? He sees me. We start talking. He's telling me, yo, listen, I need you to drive me from this block all the way to 42nd Street to a parking lot. And that's it. I don't need you to get out. I don't need you to touch nothing. At this point, I already know that there's something valuable in this car, or that he's going to bring with his person, that this is the reason why he wants me to be with him. I have a badge and I have a gun. So this is what I'm thinking I'm getting paid for. God forbid we get pulled over. I show the credentials. And that's what they're paying for. You know? So whatever this is what I'm securing. He wants me to do it at 4 in the afternoon. And I know what block he's telling me to pick him up at uptown, and he wants me to take him to 42nd Street. There's a lot of people. So I'm not thinking that it's some shicey shit. This is not in an alley somewhere at 2, 3 in the morning. So I take him, I drop him off, throws me the bread, 2 bands. And I'm like, damn. All right.
That was easy.
Yeah, yo, I'm gonna call you in a couple days and we'll figure something out. Go back to work, clock in. I don't see this dude for like 3 or 4 days. I finally see him walking out to lunch. And he goes, yo, you like that, right? And I'm like, you know, people are watching. You know, you can't talk to police like that all the time either, because then they're gonna think something is up. And I started doing that little by little.
Like talking to him more.
Talking to him more and just getting, you know, the gist of what it is that I'm getting paid for. You know, and I know that it's drugs. I know that it's drugs. It could have been guns too, but I know that it's drugs. Just how everything is playing off. The inmate is Dominican. He's from uptown. He's flashy as fuck in prison, in jail. And then I meet Poppy, technically outside. Like, all right, I'm just picking up for you, and I'm making you look good, and that's why you paying me the big bucks. So it was all a game from the jump because that dude was a DEA agent. The Colombian dude.
All right, so nah. We gonna get there. Don't even get him. Don't even get him the end of the story.
This is crazy. Hold on, the mic picking that up.
So you did your first gig. You got the 2 bands. You see homie 3-4 days later. He hit you with that. You like that, right?
Yeah.
So he fronting on you because he feel good.
Yeah, of course.
Like, yeah,
of course. In
I
my
made a play.
mind, I'm making him look good too with them.
With them.
Because he's like, they looking at it like, yo, you pushing buttons from inside.
Facts.
I like that. And you doing it clean. I like that.
Facts,
You know?
right? So, so when you seen dude, what did he like? Obviously, you know, we know the cliffhanger per us here. But did he like did he feel like he had some type of, was he incentivized to do that? Like, did he expect you to look out for him? Like when you seen him, was it like I did this for you
From day
now?
one, but I'm not looking at it like that. I'm not thinking that far because they know I've been dubbing him with trying to bring shit in. And you can make a lot of money bringing shit in. As an officer and the inmate themselves.
Everything triple.
It triples because it's hard to get.
That's a fact.
You know how much a cell phone goes for in the feds or in the state prisons? A lot of money.
1,500 type
15 to 4 bands. No battery charge or no nothing. And if it dies, it dies. But you're paying for that right then and there. You know? And COs are dealt with this type of pressure on a daily basis. So it's like seeing a glass box of money and you could lift it up and put it in your pocket or you could just watch it. Because there's a lot of money in there.
Right.
You know?
So after the first gig, how long did it take for the second gig to come around for this to be a consistent thing?
Well, I met that dude twice, the Colombian dude. And then he was telling me, yo, I got to go out of town. I'm going to hit you with this guy's brother. You going to meet his brother. And then when I see him inside, he tells me the same thing. Like, yo, talk to my brother. He's telling me from across, you know, the dorm. Yo, talk to my brother. Talk to my brother. The guy gives me the number. I call him. I say, yo, introduce myself. This is such and such. Yeah. Yo, come see me. Same scenario. Go from uptown to Yonkers now. Get paid. Now it's 4 bands. And I'm doing this twice a week now. Yo, meet my aunt in case I'm not around. Because I might be in AC for the weekend, this and that. But she's going to call you. I'm knee deep in this dude's whole entire enterprise. And they really moving weight. They really moving weight from one spot to another. It's just a delivery service. And I'm the Uber driver. But I'm the Uber driver because I have a gun and I have a badge. This is what I'm thinking. This is why they paying me that much. And it will fluctuate. Sometimes it will be 1,500 and it could be 3 hours long. Sometimes it will be 7 bands and it could be 25 minutes.
Has it been shit like that?
It has been.
Was it shit like that?
Shit like that. But it fluctuated because in my mind I'm thinking, depending on how good his organization is doing, reflects on what I get paid. It's not about that there's 2 bricks in here or there's only 1 ounce in here. It doesn't matter. As long as you're here and we get this done, we give you what we decide to give you.
What did you get paid? What's the most you got paid for one of those situations?
12 bands.
12 bands.
12,000 in
One transaction.
12. That was like a half a day type of thing
Half a
because I had
day.
to wait until they came back downstairs.
So, okay. So was half a day like a half a working day or just a half a day?
It was like 4 or 5 hours.
5 hours for
that I'm just
12,000.
downstairs waiting, and my heart is like this.
The
You
whole
don't know.
time, yeah.
Did you? Were you
So it
aware?
felt like
was
14
you,
hours.
Was you aware of what was going on?
Not because everything is upstairs. I'm not dealing with nothing. That's
You
why
just
I
sitting
was.
in the car.
That's why I was
So you
so
don't-
okay with it.
He transporter.
No, I
He's-
understand.
yeah.
I'm
That's
just,
why I
I'm
was so
just-
okay with it. I wasn't with the scale, dropping here and bagging up. I didn't touch nothing. Nothing ever. But then it got to that. Because now I could do these things on my own. They've gained enough trust where, one, they know where I work at. Two, they know everything about me. They know my car. I can't hide. If I wanted to skip town with these 2 bricks, they know exactly where to find me. You know?
So that was their insurance. That was
Yeah.
their leverage. All right. So with that being said, making 12 bands in 5 hours and working a regular job. Now that's not some shit that niggas at regular jobs do.
No.
Unless you have a crazy betting habit and you're very good at betting, right? So with that being said, you made that money. Now you at work. What's your morale like? Did that make you a little cocky?
It made me
knowing
cocky.
that it was like, I
It
don't
made
even
me
need this
cocky.
fucking job.
Yeah,
Nigga, I just made
21.
5 grand.
Listen,
I just
I
made
used
12
to get
grand
the
in 5 hours.
notification from Chase saying that 1550 was put in my account from the New York City Department of Corrections, and that was nothing. It was nothing to me. I let that bread stack. The actual liquid cash that I was getting was my spending money, because I know that in 2 days I'll make it right back. That check that I was getting from Corrections was just a plus. That was like the guarantee every other Thursday I get that.
Benefits.
And I wasn't worried about it, because I knew again that I was doing these moves. I was busting these moves.
So I got a 2-part question for you. And the second question will come after the answer for the first question. So with that being said, the money you making, your morale being like, you see your pay for your actual job, you like, fuck out of here, right? Now, when did you get into business for yourself? Because you said you was just sitting in the car at first, and then you knew how to do it yourself to where, all right, I don't even need to go on these missions with these niggas.
Yeah.
I could just do this myself and just get these niggas whatever the point is.
I was still under them always, because they were the plug.
It was consignment, so clearly.
It was consignment.
Right.
So I'm over here busting moves myself, and I'm doing these moves myself on top of seeing what prices I could get for certain things and doing it on my own. Because again, going back to I'm never satisfied. 12 bands is beautiful, but then it's not 12 bands no more after you spend it. So I got to get that back. And I know that I'm getting it from my Department of Corrections check. I'm fucking around with you twice a week, but then I still got a few days and time to myself where I know the game. So I'm going to start playing myself, and that's what happened.
Okay, you start playing yourself. Now I know your morale is even, it's another 10 or 20 up. Like, I really fucked this
head
job.
getting bigger.
Right?
No sleep.
Right, but all right, so cool. So my second question is, with all of that being said, how did it go bad?
The cockiness fucked me up a little bit, and also this dude having an ulterior motive from the day we exchanged that number. He had the ulterior motive before we even spoke. This dude was facing 2 attempt murders and a gun charge in New York City. He's looking at a minimum of 15, at a minimum. I learned through paperwork that he's been a confidential informant for a very long time. The feds, the DEA, they know what he does in these streets, but he's given them enough throughout the time that they allow him to do so. And I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy.
And he preyed on you because you was a rookie.
So we're talking, I had 3.5 years I had 3 years into me being a CEO that we actually had this conversation.
Got you.
He's been in that building since I started. That's the reason why I gave him the open door. Because he's not the first inmate. Again, I was telling Show, he's not the first inmate to be like, yo, we can make some money, this and that. Nah, it was deeper than that.
Were any of your colleagues involved in that as well? Or
I
was it just you?
brought one of my colleagues in.
After I'm sure he's seen your glow up.
He saw what I was doing. Instagram is just coming up.
Yup, that's around that time.
So this is where, I gotta make. You thought people think now 2021 into 22 that you post everything on the gram. Back then, everything was on
It
the
was a
ground.
Everything.
Everything, yeah.
Because we didn't think as inner city kids that the feds was watching the
Yeah,
gram.
that's a fact.
Absolutely.
He's my coworker. He sees me. He's like, yo, man, you just pulled that in? I had bought a Cherokee, 2013. I said, yeah. He's like, yo, man, I'm fucked up. Like, these checks ain't doing right like I thought they were. I was sold a dream just like I was. I thought I was going to make 5 bands in 2
5
weeks.
bands a
But
check,
you
yeah.
got to work to that. You got to hit top pay. You got to bust your ass. You got to be there 16 plus 5 days a week, you
That's
know?
a fact.
And there's people that do that. There's Beamers, Bentleys, Flying Spurs in that parking lot. And I'm not joking. You can ask anybody.
That's a fact.
You know, so he saw what I was doing. I felt bad. He told me he's gonna get kicked out of his crib. He's got a little one on the way. We had just got cool in there. We weren't cool from before, but I had some sort of empathy, you know. And I said, "Yo, listen, this is what I'm doing." And to put a cherry on top of it, he was bringing in drugs already. So it's not like he didn't know what was going on. He wasn't a great CO, and then I turned him bad. He was already bringing in drugs, and the only reason I know that is because the inmates told me.
He's with the shits.
They say, yo, French. They used to call me French. I look like French Montana. They used to call me French. It was so real. The officers and the warden would call me on the radio, French, landline, central control,
That's
please.
crazy. That's your name in the building.
That's
yeah.
my name in the building.
Yeah.
And it became my name in Westchester County. It became my name on Rikers. It became my name in Clinton. It became my name in Downstate.
They called you French.
French from
French.
jump.
Shout out
from
to
jump.
my nigga French.
To bring back to the French, and I don't want to tap too much into it. I used to bring in Smack DVDs, Sub-Zero DVDs.
Now hold on,
Hey, ain't
Steve.
holding it down. You know them niggas love that nigga, son. Hey, yo, French, bring that on.
Hold on. Right now, with that, is this before you started to bring
This was
shit
before.
in?
This was before.
So you was already showing the shades of being a cool.
It was hard. I'll admit to anybody. It was hard for me to be an asshole. It was hard for me not to show you love. It was hard for me to not have a conversation with you as a human being. It was hard. Again, I'm relatable to these cats. They my age.
That's a fact.
Yo, French, you bought the last 12s that came out? Yeah, hell yeah. Me and my shorty got them. Yo, them shit is fire. They showing me magazines. They telling me they used to showing me pictures. I'm entertaining them, but I'm also entertaining myself because I'm there for 16
hours a day. Ugh.
New York 1 get boring on TV. You got 40 dudes in the fucking day room like this. Fuck it, let's talk to the CEO. He cool. And I earned my stripes already from before because they knew I didn't just become cool or I'm wishy-washy and I'm cool sometimes. Nah, I'm cool 24/7.
So outside of just bringing in the DVDs and shit at first, was you bringing like food and shit for niggas too?
Nah, I
Was you
never
doing
gave
those
food
things?
to nobody. The one time I did give food to a person was he was my assistant basically in the housing area. And I say this in helping me clean when the water needed something clean, making sure everybody locked in on time, keeping the house cool, calm, and collected. That was my boy. I was in the housing area for 8 months. So imagine me seeing this dude 4 out of 5 days for 8 months straight. You gain a rapport. He never asked me for nothing. He didn't even ask me for the slice of pizza that I gave him. The reason I gave him that slice of pizza is because the night before that he blew trial, 25 to life, he's 23 years old at the time. 25 with the life at the end. I ain't seen him shed a tear. He's in the day room playing spades. Because in his mind, he thinks he's going to beat it, you know, on a reversal. He was talking. He's like, damn, man, I just wish I could have one more slice of pizza. But he didn't tell me that. He's telling somebody else that.
And you heard it.
He's not. I just heard him. Because I'm walking by real quick. I'm about to go to lunch myself. And I'm like, yo, you know what, man? Tomorrow, because I was in that house on a double the next day. I worked 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I had to do the chow in the morning, the breakfast. He was the person I would lock out to do the feeding, to feed everybody in the house. I bought the slice of pizza on my way home, cold that shit, brought it to him, took it to my post. As he was cleaning everything, getting set up, said, yo, here. Never seen this dude bawl like that in my life.
Start
I never seen a
crying.
grown man cry like that in my life. About to hit, like, you know, go down on the knee and
Over a
just
pizza.
over a slice of pizza because he know that worst case scenario, that's the last time he ever gonna eat a slice of pizza from New York City. And that meant so much to him.
See, that's what I mean by real niggas in there. That's what I mean by the real. See, you know what I'm saying?
And that's
Good
still breaking
people,
the
bro.
rules, but it's
that's
like
breaking the rules, but that's just a good
in
human
my head.
act, bro.
In my head, I'm just like, yo, man, that dude's gonna remember me for a long time, and he's gonna realize that there's good people in this hopeless environment. Because that's what it is. It's a hopeless environment. It's an environment where everybody's an alpha male, everybody's tough, nobody's emotional, I don't give a fuck. That's a lot of tension. So if I could break that tension somehow, bringing in a Sub-Zero DVD, bringing in a Smack DVD, that calms everybody down, it gives them hope. You know, it's like, you know what, man, I'm gonna get back to the town soon.
Right.
They hope, and you know, it's hard in there. Everybody's
That's the only hope
hopeless.
to hold on to for somebody that, you know,
man.
can actually see the end of the road. But, you know, prison is a place that everyone is dealing with a mental illness.
Everyone.
Right? So
Everyone.
that's where that resides.
Including myself.
Including yourself, because I'm sure you battle mentally with knowing that you're employed to do this one job and you're breaking the rules, but not only breaking the rules, you're risking the same freedom
Facts.
that those guys don't have anymore.
I didn't see it that way.
And it's not safe.
Right?
I didn't see it that way.
So I'm sure, you know, the mental part of that whole situation
Yeah.
was strenuous, because
It
that's some
was.
shit that you can't really, like, you can't escape that going to sleep at night. Yeah, your pockets is fat, but
was.
in the back of your mind is always that what if.
Any minute. My anxiety, I gained anxiety from that job. That's
Right.
why I smoke
Talk about
weed
that.
now.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so-
I
so-
gained
you smoke?
anxiety. Yeah, of course. I was a smoker before it was legal in New York. The first thing I did at a work release was get my prescription. So I had it. I got the card on me.
Oh, so you can smoke weed now?
Yeah.
You want to smoke some weed?
Let's smoke some weed.
So
man.
why the hell you ain't say that, man?
I had an edible before this.
you
I'm
roll?
trying to
What do you
be-
roll?
Oh,
Backwoods?
yeah.
Backwoods papers? What's your thing?
Papers. I fuck
Get that
with
nigga some
cones or
papers.
raps or anything.
I need some papers. Yeah, man. Take some of this Smokers Club shit, man. Yeah, do your thing.
That helps though, man. It helps a lot.
I mean,
Especially with like, you know, we'll get more
You
deep
don't look like
into
you're a
it.
Fonto guy? Nah, you good.
No, I'm good with the paper.
right. So, like, we was talking about that any minute, right? And your any minute actually came.
Yeah.
So when that minute came, right? What was that like? Like, walk me through that. Like, how did you get knocked? Is the question.
I go after doing it for a few runs by myself. I met back with the Colombian dude. Day before that, he was telling me, "Yo, this guy's brother acting funny, this and that." There was a little tension between them.
How long you been doing this so far now?
About a year and a half.
All right.
The entire 2013 into 14. I got knocked June 2014. And it was going into my 5th year as a correctional officer. So I was about to hit that top pay and really see that money, you know? So I meet with him and I'm with my co-defendant, which is the CR I just told you that I put on. This will be his second run. Because the first one, I think he made 3,500. Yo, when we doing it again? I'm already used to that type of bread. You know, he's seeing that. That's his monthly allowance.
How much was you in at this point? How much bread did you make at this point?
Just with the outside shit?
With the outside shit. Well, let's put it all together. Let's put because the outside shit and just you sitting in the car, just still with them. How much money did you make during this whole ordeal?
I would say like a little under a quarter and a little over a quarter because if you tying in my
a quarter, 200,000.
Yeah, if you tying in my monthly allowance with corrections and that
They call that shit allowance.
we could probably do like a little under 400.
Now, upon self, I'm just being funny by letting the horns off. I'm not advocating this.
Nah,
I'm
for
just
sure.
being a funny nigga.
For sure.
But
I would have beat the horn too.
Yeah, Steve.
right. All right. So 200K in. You got your man. He about to lose the crib. He got a kid on the way.
I put money in his pocket.
He's struggling. You know, he getting an allowance from the city. And you know, now he's 3,500 up on this end too. So this is his second run with you.
This is his second run. This is the day after Father's Day in June.
Okay.
I nigga remember
All
that.
right, so yeah, walk me
hell
through
yeah.
this. Let me not cut you off.
We was meeting real early. right on Dykeman and Broadway. That was the location we was gonna meet at. He wanted us to be there at 8:30 in the morning. So he came in his separate car, came in my separate car, and then it's already pushing like 9. So I call him. I'm like, yo, we been here for like half an hour. You still coming? We good? And he's like, yeah. Matter of fact, meet me on 230 5th and Broadway. And I'm like, by the Target? He's like, yeah. Meet me in the Target upstairs. Go to the last floor.
Parking lot.
The last floor of the parking lot. It's 8:30 in the morning. Target is about to open. You know, so there's 3-4 cars in a parking lot that could hold 1,000 cars.
That's a fact.
You know? So I just pulled up. I had just bought a Jeep. The Jeep Grand Cherokee that I had in 2013, I bought the higher version that year, 2014.
Shit.
So I pull up, he sees me. He's never seen that car before. He's like, yo, where you at? I'm like, I'm in the Jeep. He's like, which color? I bought a white one. I had a black one before. I said, oh, shit, it's a white one. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Just want to make sure that's you. My co-defendant pull up to the left of me. He pulls in. He has a Durango, a black Durango. We get inside the car. We sit in the back seat. There's 2 duffel bags. He tells me, yo, I'm not doing this run with y'all. Same spot in Yonkers that you went with this dude brother, go straight there. And if anything, I'll probably meet you there. But I'll call you when I get there. Y'all head out first. Take the left bag. He's telling my co-defendant, take the left bag, the brown one. You could take the black one. And that was done on purpose because the black one had more work in it. And this is real drugs because if it was fake drugs, then none of this was like stay in court. You know, you can't give me 8 years, 81 felony for placebo. You know, it has to be real.
Yeah.
That bag had 2 bricks and 7 ounces or 5 ounces in it. In total, like 77 ounces of something. And we step out the car. I already got the address saved on my phone. So the Colombian dude steps out the car too. He said, yo, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll catch y'all. But if anything, if something happens, call me. Cool. I look at my co-defendant, give him a head nod. We stepping out the car. I look at I had the Nike fuel band at that time. I click. I'm like, I bet, 940. We'll get to Yonkers in like 20 minutes. I'm just calculating. That's how I am. Calculating everything.
Yeah, you're not thinking nothing right now?
Nothing. It's deserted. Like, there's no cars in the parking lot. The minute, for some reason, that I go back and I check that fuel bin and I look up, I see an Enterprise rental van. Right in front of us. A white van that says Enterprise on it. Rental car Enterprise. The doors bust open and it's the feds. It's the DEA agents. 3 DEA agents. Beams, everything. Vests say DEA. All in slow motion. And I look at my co-defendant. He was to my left. And I'm like, and he's looking at me like, yo, what?
Yeah,
Did y'all even get a chance to leave the Target?
Nothing. No.
They boxed y'all in like they came
Boxed us in. As soon as
that, I know how that Target looked.
As soon as that Enterprise van came, 5 other squad cars, unmarked, black on black, everybody guns pointed, everything. Get on the ground. They telling me get on the ground like 15 times, but I'm so caught in a daze that I'm telling myself, yo, Steve, you probably gotta pee right now. Why don't you get up and wake up out this dream? Because that's what it felt like.
Wow.
So I get on the ground. As soon as my knee touches the ground, somebody's knee is on my back, stripping me of everything. The first thing they went for was my gun. Remember, I'm a CEO. I got a gun on me.
They know that.
I'm coming for this run. I'm going to have my gun on me. I have the legal right to kill you if you try to kill me.
Right.
A Glock 19, 1 in the head, 16 in the clip.
Talk that
and I was a good shooter, too. When you go to the range and you test out.
That means you still are a good shooter.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
This episode is called.
I gotta be a stupid nigga, man.
This episode is called Redemption. So relax.
Yes, sir. But nah, go ahead. So like slow mo. So that shit.
He goes straight for my gun. When he went straight for my gun, I kind of snapped back into it. And I said, if he's going straight for my gun, he knows exactly what the fuck I do for a living. Because I don't just have the gun, tucked in, with the string holding it. I have a full holster. And the only people that carry full holsters are law enforcement. I'm on the ground, chest. I'm looking at my co-defendant. He's looking at me.
He about to cry.
And he looked like he about to cry. I looked like I was about to cry. And, I wasn't gangster in that situation. I was scared to death. I'm trying to wake up. Again, in my head, I'm dreaming. Shaking, I'm scared. I get in the car. Big white dude to the left of me. Short Asian lady driving a car. There's nobody in the passenger. They both got big vests on with the big emblem out. Drug Enforcement Agency. So we head down the ramp. My co-defendant is in another car, and guess who's in another car? The Colombian dude. From the corner of my eye, they tussling with him because he's not getting on the ground. But that's all a ploy.
Yeah, they trying to make it
because
seem
I'm
like
watching the whole thing. I'm watching the whole thing, and there's like I'm like, yo, this dude, they're gonna kill this dude. They're gonna take their gun out and kill this dude. What if he got a gun on him, and they just kill him right there? I'm worried about his safety.
So the Colombian dude didn't even get to leave after he told y'all. Yo,
when he said he was
to...
walking to the bathroom, they caught him further steps up. But again,
it was a ploy.
He
probably walked and gave them the signal that it was all
100% because there had to be a measurement of whether the cars could, block us in. They had to make sure there's a lot of safety precautions. Yo, remember, this guy has a gun. They could have said that, yo, let's be cautious because he might go rogue. And he might be under so much pressure that he take that same gun on his hip and kill himself.
Kill himself. Word.
Just to not be arrested because he knows that after this is over.
It's over.
So they took that precaution quick,
How many bricks was in the bags?
2 and change.
2 and change in your bag, and how many was in your co-defendants?
A little less than 1. And anything over, I forgot the exact amount. I think anything over 8 ounces is considered an A1 felony. I copped out to an A1 criminal sale and criminal possession. I had a 19-count indictment. So I got hit with that. I got hit with promoting prison contraband, conspiracy 2 and 4, bribery receiving. They hit me with everything. But they did that because they wanted to make an example. Because New York, Rikers Island, was under extreme scrutiny. If you think it's under scrutiny now, 2014 is when officers are getting stabbed, inmates are getting killed. They had the riot with the Crips and the Trinitarians and GRVC.
I want to tell you.
Dude got a broomstick through his eye. Like, it was bad.
I know you seen some shit in there, bro.
That's where the PTSD come from. I seen a lot of stuff, and it's hard to, tell people this story because it's borderline not believable.
Nah, I need to hear it.
I mean, it's in the paper. I actually Googled the article from the daily
and
news.
That happens all the time. That type of violence happens all the time.
Yeah. Shit. Got me fucked up. Alright, so with that being said, you guys get caught upstairs in the Target, you know what I mean? You don't know your setup at this time.
Nah. I asked the officer that's escorted me in the back. He looked like Bam Bam Bigelow. I did that reference for you. He looked like Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to keep calm. We're on the West Side Highway. I'm just like...
Going downtown.
And I see the beautiful skyline
New
York City has to offer, and I don't know when's the next time I'm going to see it.
And I'm sure you started thinking about that slice of pizza you gave a homie.
I'm thinking about everything. My life literally flashed before my eyes. I'm like, yo, my mom's in class right now. Don't have a clue what the fuck is going on. She think I'm at work. My girl at the time is probably like, yo, why you ain't call or text me yet? You don't even work today. I'm thinking about everybody. What my friends are going to think, what my coworkers are going to say, everybody. And I asked him, I said, yo, what precinct we going to? And it was my mistake because I knew we weren't going to a precinct. That wasn't NYPD that arrested me. That was the feds.
Right.
So when he said precinct, and he shows me the badge to remind me, and it's Drug Enforcement Agency. Either we going to the headquarters on 10th Avenue. Whole car ride shut. Going to this parking lot, it's like a maze. Everything is pitch black. I see nothing but exotic cars.
Yep.
That's the impound lot.
Yep.
We go upstairs, hit the elevator. The elevator doors open. I'm by myself at this time. My co-defendant know the Colombian dude is there. So the elevator doors open, and I see Drug Enforcement Agency. They keep reminding me, you fucked. That's a scare tactic. To me, it's a scare tactic. Let's show you where you at. Let's remind you that you're not in the tombs. This isn't central bookings. You fucked. They put me in a bullpen. For those that don't know what a bullpen is, it's just a single man cell.
A single man cell, right.
An hour later, This is all done on purpose. My co-defendant walks in. I'm in my head. First thing I'm like, yo, why it took them an hour?
Hour for this name.
Then another hour go by. They haven't told me anything. The Colombian dude walks in. He's cursing them out in Spanish. It looked like he tried to spit at one of the feds. And I'm like, yo, this guy's ruthless. But this is all part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They take me in. One of the agents, female, she goes, listen, I'm not interrogating you at this time. What I need from you is basic information. You don't have to give it to me. You can wait for your attorney to arrive, or you can give me this basic information that I already have from owning your wallet verbally, and we just get this process going. So in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to answer no questions aside from the regular. First and last, maiden name, address. I want out of here. Because the faster I get out of here, the faster I can make a court appearance, is the faster I could get bond, it's the faster I could get on the phone and tell my people what's going on.
Yes, sir.
So I give them that. They do the same thing with everybody else. They pull me out of bullpen again. Interrogation starts. Yo, man, I'm going to just keep it real with you. We weren't following y'all. We were following the Colombian guy, the little guy. The one that tried to spit at, you saw him? I'm like, you know, not giving yes, not giving no, just trying to be as still as possible. We've been taught since a youth not to say a word, no matter what they tell you.
It's funny he using street tactics though.
You know, this is
That's
learned.
a fact.
It's learned behavior. You don't just see it in movies. I've been taught, yo,
That's a
wait for
fact.
your lawyer.
That's a
Wait for your
fact.
lawyer.
That's a fact.
You need representation.
A
You
lot
don't
of people
know.
don't do that, bro.
You don't know everything, you know? So
No,
have
nothing.
somebody represent you that does. So I did exactly that. They kind of saw that there was no budge. They're telling me, yo, your co-defendant, the CO, American Idol, he's singing. So you might as well talk to us. That's the bait,
bullshit,
you
man.
know? So don't say a word. I don't know if my co-defendant did or didn't at that time. I don't know what the Colombian dude is about because they making it seem like this was a sting operation for him. I just got caught in the mix. And they did that on purpose to try to make me tell them like, yo, listen, I was just doing this and already admitting guilt because they're going to show this at trial and I'm going to be fucked. But I know this already. You know, I was ahead of that game. The DA comes in. And I know she's a DA because somebody spoke to her and said, hey, you know, this is district attorney such and such. She's introducing her to somebody else, but I'm ear hustling. And I'm like, fuck, man, this shit is real. So I start asking for my phone call, want my people to know. They see that I'm not budging and they not budging either. Then the DEA agent, the district attorney, the female, she walks in, she's got a suit on, really good looking, slim. Looked like she was my age. And she just gave me a head nod. They took me out, escorted me, and took me to the tombs. So the feds dropped my whole shit off of the basis that nobody said anything. And on the basis that, you know what, this is the city problem. Let the city handle it because DOI, Department of Investigations, is a city agency that oversees corruption and, you know, it's not just for correction officers, but for NYPD, insurance scans for like other city agencies. That's who they are there for. And they said, let's give them this medal because the city needs it because de Blasio is under scrutiny. DOI hasn't had no big bust in a long time. We got to show that.
So it was a favor.
We got to show that, listen, let y'all handle this so y'all can look good when shit hits the fan. And y'all can show that y'all working. I became the poster boy for Rikers Island because Daily News, you could Google it, Post, New York Times, Channel 11, 9, 7, 5, 2, and 1. And mind you, all this is going on in my little world. My mom gets out of work, she's cooking, turns the TV on, and it's like a movie.
She sees her son on
New York
the
1.
New York 1 bulletin.
What? It flips the
Nah,
channel.
I can't.
It's on channel 47
I
and
can't
41.
imagine.
Univision is talking about me.
Shit.
Now my friends, these are stories that everybody's telling me because I don't know what's going
Exactly.
on. Like, yo, we saw the headline and we said everybody sending it to each other. Nah, this can't be real. And
Was your friends aware of what you was doing inside, or was that just your thing that you was
nah,
just
they
doing, just keeping it mum?
weren't. But I feel a few of them had some sort of like. idea that it was more than just corrections. You know, I don't care how many sneakers Stevie sold this month. You're not making this type of money. I'm living a lifestyle that doesn't look like the one that I'm living. It's like I do my 9 to 5 and then I'm somebody else. Cause I'm outside. I'm in Starlets. I'm at La Marina. I'm everywhere. I'm in AC. I'm flying out to Miami. I'm going to Vegas. I'm doing DR. I'm doing PR. I'm going to Colombia.
All that shit.
I'm going to LA. And I'm around certain people that also are part of this lifestyle. But I'm a correction officer. Not too many people knew that either. That's where the name Guns come from, because I always had it on me. But they didn't know that it was on me because I was law enforcement.
They just think you just got
I got the bag, and I'm showing everybody that I got the bag. You know, jewelry, clothes, again, trips. I lived up to that. And I only did that because I was young, dumb. I had a gun. I had a badge. What you gonna tell me?
Right.
What are you gonna tell me? I'm doing the wrong thing? Nah, I got a job too. So if this go bad, I still got a job. That was my mindset. Ignorance, really. You know, not being mature.
Without getting too much in your case, how much time did you do?
I was convicted of 8 years. I was sentenced to 8 years. I was convicted on the A1 felony. And the minimum on that charge is 8 years. The max is 25. So if I would have had a felony prior to, I probably would have got 12, 15, 20. My first offer was 12. But that was, again, for me to try to give up information. They kept asking my attorney, hey, listen, let him tell us about drugs in the street. Let him tell us about guns in the street. Human trafficking. Credit card scams was booming at this time. You know any scammers? Like, tell us something. Because we know that you a good kid deep down, you just let this mistake fuck you over. So at least try to, you know, we could talk to the DA and tell her, yo, listen, he gave up Joe and Jane and John. Let's give him 5 years. Let's give him 3 years. And they was throwing those numbers at me. But this wasn't, I didn't tell, I didn't snitch just to be a stand-up dude. It was a safety thing. People knew where my mom worked. People knew where my mother lived, and that was the most important part to me. You know, it wasn't me going to jail and someone calling me a snitch. Because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to still be a correction officer in their eyes. You know, I'm still police in their eyes. Yeah, I was getting money, but it might not be that. You know, I might get treated differently, not just from the inmates, but from the staff, because they looking at, I make them look bad. Me being the bad apple made the tree look bad. You know? So they looking at me kind of like, man, I had CEOs in Westchester tell me, yo, you fucked up a good job, a good pension, and they were right. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, listen, I'm not thinking that far at that time. I was a little kid, and I could say that I became a man after I left prison.
I mean, prison will make a boy a man. I mean, because, you know, that's, like I said, I've never been. I've got a lot of friends that's in family that's been there, and I can only just share off my experiences seeing them go through shit as to why I would say that. But so did your co-defendant get the same time that you got?
He got the 5 years because they knew exactly how many times he did the act. They knew that I brought him in. He knew that they knew that he just came into this. I've been doing this for a year and a half. This was his second run. The first one they let him rock because they wanted him to feel that money, and once he felt that money, he's gonna want to do it again.
So, how long down the line did you realize that you got lined up?
When I started seeing my paperwork, so my discovery, things are being scratched out, people's name are being scratched out, and I'm pinpointing times and dates and scenarios that is in my paperwork. And remembering who was there, who was talking to me, who was telling me what to do, where to go. And that person's name will be scratched off, but in the side of it, it'll say parentheses CI, confidential informant. And there's many of those in prison. There's many of those in jail. So when you go to trial and you think that they don't got nothing on me, but I've been talking to you in the day room for 2 years about my case, and I tell you, yo, you know what? I did kill that dude. Word.
Yep.
He's recording that too. Maybe not physically, but mentally. And then when you go to trial,
He's sitting right
not
there.
putting that on you.
Nah.
But, you know, when you
Of
go to
course,
trial,
never. Yeah.
what the fuck show doing here? Now you taking a stand on me. I've been in the day room with you for 2 fucking years. Telling you my pain, telling you what I'm going through and how I'm
Spilling
trying
your
to fight
heart
this
out.
case.
That's a fact.
And you about to shit on me?
Sucker nigga.
What's the loyalty though? I just met you in the day room. You don't owe me shit. You trying to, it's like crabs in a bucket. Some people say that the crabs are helping other crabs getting out, but some are like, yo, fuck it, I'm trying to get up there too. I'm older than you. I'm, you know.
So the dude that initially got you into the whole situation,
He was a confidential informant
In there.
and you discovered that through paperwork as well.
through paperwork. He's been a confidential informant for 12 years, and he was my age. So this is literally since he was 14, 15 years old.
Damn. Lifetime rap.
But this is the thing. Dudes are coming in from the town, from the street, and they saluting this dude. They giving him a dap. They showing him love. They making sure he's good. Because outside of town, the whole heist, the whole Dykeman down, they know who this cat is. He's really that guy. He's really putting on for his city. But they don't know that he's a CI either. And then you wonder why dude down, they just busted dudes down the block. Yo, it's hot. They ran into such and such crib. How do you think that stuff is happening? It's somebody else giving them information. The feds, the cops, they don't got to do that much work. You gave them everything. Now pay me back, because that attempted murder he was facing, those 2 attempted murders he was facing with the gun charge, the day I got knocked, June 23rd, the 25th, he was out of Rikers Island. Free. It said released on the thing. I had Shorty call up, and it said released. And in my head, I'm like, released? This dude's facing 15 years. He didn't even go to trial yet. Released. And I asked my lawyer, when he comes to see me, I said, released?
So that doesn't, like, for me hearing that, do you think him facing 15 was even a real thing to begin with? Or was that just...
Only because while I was doing
crazy.
these run-ins, I checked his name in the database. I did my homework on him.
And he did indeed.
And ironically,
or it looked
as that. That could have been a ploy too. But even his address, everything, his point of emergency contact, those were the buildings that I was going in and out from. His brother on file, like, this was all him. They was really running drugs outside, and I was assisting. And then on the comeback, his brother's giving me something to bring him inside. That's where the inside stuff comes into play. And if I can't get it to him, he was gang related, so I could just get it to one of his mans on the other side. And I'm doing that off the strength that he's putting me onto the street shit.
That's crazy. You know, I only ask that because it just makes you think, like, are these people just in there just to catch corrupt
Right.
It's a possibility.
COs?
It's a
You know what I
possibility.
mean? Is that, are they just the plant just for that?
It's a possibility.
You know what I mean?
You know why I think that? Because I wasn't the first one, and I wasn't the last one. You know how many officers got knocked after me? At least 40. They don't all make the paper. That's the problem.
Oh.
But one of them will get caught bringing in the cell phone. One of them, it's so minor, they'll still have to, go through the same process as me, but not to that extent. Because not am I only promoting prison contraband, I'm also working outside. So I was on a whole nother level from the average officer that brought something in for an inmate and got caught.
You know, my whole observation for this whole thing is, your stint or just being a correction officer itself and dealing with the shit y'all deal with every day is like everybody's in jail. One side is getting paid to be there, and the other side is the work that's there for y'all to get paid, right? And it's a thin line for you getting paid to be the protector.
Everybody's doing time.
That you could go in and actually, be a product of the state. So that shit is, you're right, everybody's doing time. You know what I mean? Because you get to go home at night, but eventually you end up right back in that
That's
The
motherfucker.
COs sometimes have it worse than the inmates.
That's a fact.
The COs sometimes have
The
it worse.
mental
I'm not
health of a
shitting
CO
on-
too. Nah, the mental health of
I got family
I got
that
family
retired
too.
as
Yeah, that's a
correction
fact.
officers, you know what I mean, and they dealt with a lot of crazy shit. So, you know, to know you and to know your story, right? And it doesn't end there. You know what I mean? I'm just capping it all to summarize for everybody listening or for the people that just tuned in. But okay, so now you get sentenced, right? So now you beginning to do your time. Do you do any time at the place where you work before you went?
No, that would have been a conflict of interest if I stayed at Rikers. So what they did was I couldn't make bail. I went to arraignment. My bail was $750,000. People with murder charges get a $500,000 bail. So that's when I knew the shit was real. Because my lawyer, up until arraignment, is telling me we're going to try to get a bail package together. I just spoke to your mom. She's telling me about some jewelry that we could pawn and everything. I'm telling my mom what to do because she's never really been to this process. So my girl at the time is assisting her, trying to see the best numbers for the bail. Remember, we don't know the number at this time. And then when he says that, I look at my lawyer. I say, "Yo, why is it so much?" And he's like, "We'll talk about it in a few." And then the DA comes up and says the reason why the bail is so high is because I'm a flight risk. Why am I a flight risk? Because I was in Colombia 3 weeks prior to being, in this position. So they're looking at it like whatever I was doing seems international now. Because they knew that I was doing it on the side by myself too. I wasn't even just working with their CI anymore.
They using that to hold you.
Of course,
of course.
Yeah. But $750,000 bail for a non-violent crime?
That's crazy.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful. Knowing that I work for the city. I don't make that much on paper. But they knew how much I was making outside because they was monitoring every single thing. My phone was tapped for 18 months. And I really, really started doing this exactly at 18 months. But why did they know I started at this time? Because that CI was telling them, "Yo, listen, I got somebody for y'all." Bing, 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 bing.
Wow.
Set up from the gate.
Not being able to go to Rikers, you went to Westchester?
Westchester County. I was in Westchester County fighting my case. I couldn't make the bail. And if I tried to make the bail, it was $75,000 non-refundable.
So if you
I had the $75,000, but for me to not get it back, nah, I don't know how much time I gotta do.
That's a fact.
I got car notes, rent to pay.
If you blow, they keep it.
If I blow, they keep it.
You might as well get that to mom, do some.
And my lawyer's telling me like, "Yo, listen, just your time inside counts. It's not like it doesn't count.
That's a fact.
You in protective custody. They put me in protective custody because I was still an officer. I'm not an officer until I get sentenced.
Guilty.
And I'm guilty. That's the proven to innocent thing. So I didn't make bail. My co-defendant had the same bail. And we both in Westchester County. And it's like, it's not so much an awkward silence, but it's just like, yo.
Was it still blue?
What?
Was it still blue love? Was it still like, all right?
When I walked in, I felt like everybody knew what I was there for. Not so much because the officers was talking, because this is a whole nother county. But it's because what they've been watching on the news the last 24 hours. So no matter what department you in, what sanction of the department you in or location, correction officers are correction officers no matter where. So they looking at it like, yeah, they're going to bring them here. I wasn't the first CO to get knocked doing something. So they knew that most of the time they took them to Westchester County or to Nassau County. Because, again, it's a conflict of interest if I would have stayed on the island. And me and my co-defendant, we stuck it up there for close to 21 months until we got sentenced.
And that's when you went up to Clinton.
That's when I went to Clinton. I went to downstate first, which is reception. When I got to downstate, the sergeant there asked me, he knew exactly who I was. They brought me separately in a van. And he said, "Yo, do you feel a threat for your life?" And I said, "No." "Why?" He's like, "Well, others might think different here. So I suggest that you sign into protective custody." While I was in law library in Westchester County trying to find ways, I knew I had to do time. Because all my paperwork, the stuff, all the charges, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I admitted to all of that. I did that. There wasn't a charge there that I didn't do.
Wow.
And I had 19 counts. So I'm in law library. I'm doing my research. I'm trying to figure out, yo, can I do shock? Can I get a program? Can I get this? It's my first felony. It's nonviolent. I'm a city employee. Like, I'm trying to see if something could benefit me. And that's where I learned about work release. And I know the rules with work release, you cannot be in protective custody. When you're in protective custody, you have no program. You're locked in a cell for 23 hours a day, and you get an hour rec. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner child comes to you. You want something for the law library, tell the trustee that's outside, write it on a piece of paper, he'll type it, he'll print it, and bring it to you. You gotta go see the medical, you're gonna get escorted. Gotta go see a visitor, you're gonna get escorted. I didn't want to live like that. Especially having to do 8 years. I didn't want to live like that. So I told him, nah. And this wasn't me being tough. It's just I know that I never did nobody wrong on Rikers Island. I know I had no fucking enemies. I had dudes write me while I was in Westchester, sending me letters saying, yo, French, man, hold your head. You a good dude. I had a dude send me $50 money order. I don't even know who the dude is. I had a dude tell me, yo, Shorty's niece, she just turned 23. She's fire. She'll come see you. I showed her your gram.
They trying to set my son out, B. They setting my son out.
Yo, when a homie see you up north, they already know what's up. No matter what spot you land in, you good.
Because you
know
was doing
why?
it was right.
Not just because I was bringing in the Smack DVDs, but because I was a person to them. I was human to them. I talked to them about, I hate the fact that LeBron playing like that this week. I spoke to them about the latest car. They'll show me straight stunting magazines, and I'll be like, yo, I just saw her dance last night. And they'll be like, yo, that's great. They loved it. It was an entertainment thing for the both of us. And we weren't doing nothing wrong aside from being human. And they remember those days. They remember when the search team took my man's sneakers, and I saw him in Perfections, and I didn't know who the fuck he was. Get a bottle of Grey Goose sent to me. I said, yo, I didn't buy that. I'm not paying for that. That shit $450. And I see a dude like this. I'm like, yo, I can't. I don't know who that dude is. He walks up to me laughing. He said, yo, French, you see, nigga, I'm doing it. I'm in the town. I'm here every day. And I'm proud to see you here, man. Take that bottle. Then I realized, oh, shit, he know me from Rikers. Call me French. Nobody call me French in the street.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
He could have took that same bottle and hit me over the head with it if I would have slapped him or beat him up. But I never put my hands on nobody on Rikers Island. I didn't have to. I feel like a lot of officers didn't have to. Some officers have to. So it's a thin line. You could be an officer Monday and an inmate Tuesday, just like me, by putting your hands on the wrong inmate. Or causing physical damage to a person, and now you hit with a gang assault charge because it was 3 officers and 1 inmate. Now you're locked up, So it can happen to anybody. They can leave the island, have a drink, and crash on the Grand Central and kill 2 people. It can happen like this. Did I have a choice? Absolutely. But greed and just me having so much ego and wanting more and never being satisfied, I chose the path that I chose.
When did you come home?
March of 2020, I signed out of work release.
That's recent.
I'm still on parole now till March 2022.
My son came home in the pandemic.
God
You said
willing,
you on parole until next year, March?
until March 2022.
Okay.
I've been a stellar parolee. I've been a stellar inmate. And aside from the negative, aside from the contraband, aside from that slice of pizza, I always felt I was a stellar officer because I gave that person hope in this hopeless place.
Yeah, he is official on both sides of the gate, man.
That's
My nigga's
my
official,
nigga.
man.
That's
You
my
a
nigga.
legend, B.
And we got and we have
Okay, guys, that's the end of it. I hope you guys enjoyed it because I sure did. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure you comment.